everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Welcome to this week's Christmas-themed episode of In Focus Friday, episode number 120. Last week we had a look at two gold-gilded maple leaves, which are very, very cool things that I won in the Silver Forum Christmas raffle. If you haven't checked those out yet, it's well worth a look. The link, as always, is down in the description below. Now, you'll notice, for my long-term viewers anyway, that we are featuring something that wasn't in a vote last week. That's because these 5 Christmas rounds entered my vaults, so to speak, after I had filmed that episode of In Focus Friday, and I thought with it only being 4 sleeps to Christmas Day, it was well worth doing a Christmas-themed episode with these because they're very, very cool indeed. So the big stack of piggies, the Silver Beans Beans, and the Cameroonian Imperial Dragon will be returning next week, as I'm going to be featuring something very special in next week's episode, and I'll give you a sneak peek at that at the end of this episode. But I just wanted to get another episode in the bank because it's Christmas. I personally don't really want to be sat at my kitchen table on Boxing Day filming an episode of In Focus Friday. I love you guys, but family at this time of year is so important, and having a break is important too. So I'm going to film that one in advance after I filmed this episode today. It's a really cracking piece though, so make sure that you stick around and have a look next week. But normal business will be resumed in next week's episode, and you can cast some votes on all of those items that we had last time. So these Christmas rounds are what we're going to be featuring today in a Christmas-themed In Focus Friday. These form part of, I guess, what the discussion topic was about on Wednesday just gone, where sometimes you might get items coming through your vaults or through your stack that you just can't seem to ever think that you would want to sell or get rid of, or melt in my case. And these are prime examples of what has come through my vaults, which is very, very cool indeed. Now, I picked these up as part of a big batch of melting stock. Obviously, I pour my own hand-poured silver. I have to have quite a good supply of silver coming in. And sometimes I just buy a bulk lot of sort of scrap silver, basically, and that could be bars, rounds. And in this particular batch, we did not know what we were going to be getting. And when Mrs. Backyard Bullion and I were unboxing the big box that we got come in, lo and behold, we found these Christmas coins, and it was almost meant to be, I suppose, wasn't it? With Christmas just around the corner, we had these rounds grace our vaults, and Mrs. Backyard Bullion looked at me and was like, well, we can't melt them. That's not very nice at Christmas. So I agree with Mrs. Backyard Bullion. We certainly can't melt them, and it makes a very cool thing to feature hit for you guys here today. Now, I've done as best a research as I can on these particular rounds, and with the exception of, I think, this one, these are all made by the Highland Mint, I'm understanding. That's what I've come to find out anyway. And that's simply by doing kind of YouTube image searches on various different bullion dealers' websites. And this kind of design here that you see with the season's greetings and the snowflakes falling down seems to be all the same designer, which is from the Highland Mint, and that I believe is in Florida. No, sorry, it's either Florida or California, I can't remember. But it's an American mint, and they essentially just obviously make Christmas rounds. I don't know if they just make Christmas rounds or they make other things as well. I would imagine they make other things as well. But these seem to be, the kind of staple Christmas themed designs. And there are various different designs which I've seen out there in those Google searches. We seem to have hit the snowmen jackpot at the moment. We've got two designs here because we've got two 2014 Christmas snowmen. This one's my favourite of the bunch, and I think you all can understand why, because of the incredible toning which has come up on this round. Is absolutely glorious. It looks perfectly antiqued, almost like somebody's actually antiqued it. I mean, it is from 2006, so it could have happened naturally, and in fact it probably is more of a natural toning than a kind of liver of sulphur, a patina gel type thing. But very cool indeed. Love it. Very happy snowmen. I mean, let's get close and have a look at this. Before we do, so another reason why I think it's from the Highland Mint. So on these other rounds here, you can see RUFO, Rufo, and I did a search for Season's Greetings round and the word Rufo, and that's where Highland Mint came up. So that's kind of another thing which backs up what I'm seeing. A few different dealers, Provident Metals and so on, have some of these in the 2018 versions, and it says Highland Mint on there. So, I think that's pretty much kind of conclusive as to where they've come from. But this one doesn't have Rufo on it, unless I'm missing it. Unless you guys can see something that I'm missing on some part of the snowman here, or this side, I'm not entirely sure. Of course, they're all 1 ounce of silver. which is very cool indeed. We've got a couple of other different designs here to have a look at as well. So this one, Season's Greetings, again, I don't know if this one's Highland Mint. I'm using my detective hat here and saying that it is, because when you flip it to the other side and you get really close to the angel's legs, you can see one of the trailing, just here to the left of the bell, you can see some little lettering, and I think that says Rufo as well. It's very difficult to see on the viewfinder of my camera as I've tried to zoom in. Perhaps when I'm looking back at this over the edit I can see, but I'm pretty sure that says Rufo, which would suggest then this one is also one of the Highland Mint design repertoires, which is very cool indeed. And I like that swirly Christmas writing. Merry Christmas indeed, with the angel there. And of course, Season's Greetings, 2005 now. What a long time ago that was, 13 years ago. But if you want the oldest of the batch, we've got here this one, which is so what does it say? Happy Holidays 1999, with a big old fat bear rolling down the hill in the snow. Very cool indeed, with a giant Christmas ball on the other side. 1 ounce of 999 fine silver. So very cool indeed. I have no idea where this one's from. If this one might be from the Highland Mint as well, it could be. I don't know. I haven't been able to find this. So if you guys know anything about these rounds, then please do let me know. That would be very cool indeed. Now, one thing that was very interesting when I got these rounds, and this is something that I would always recommend to anybody that you do if you get silver in from different sources, whether it's scrap silver, melting silver, and the like, is that I obviously test everything, especially when it's scrap silver, and make sure that it's all genuine. You know, even if it's coming from a dealer, you just never know sometimes if something is going to be real or not. And on this occasion, something struck my attention when I had all of these rounds lined up in a pile like this. You can see the one in the middle there is considerably thicker than the other rounds here. And of course these are all 1 ounce rounds. They've all got 1 ounce written on them. And I was thinking, hang on, they're the same diameter. You can see they're all stacked up perfectly next to each other, but they're different thicknesses. So how does that work? My mind couldn't get around it. So I did the magnet tests, I did specific gravity tests, and everything was above board. And then I had a closer look at this round, and I think it's probably best exampled when you have a look at these two close together. And you can see that the rim, well, is just like, it's really elevated. It's got like almost like a great wall all the way round the outside, almost like a flat earth giant wall. And yeah, that's really interesting. So it threw me off for a little bit, and I kind of was like, no, this can't be right. It can't be a real coin. It's fake. Surely it's huge, and it's quite considerably bigger, especially when you put it next to this antiques one. You can really see the diameter difference. But of course, the main diameter of the actual center of the coin is quite thin, and you can really feel that when you put it between your fingers and you sort of feel the depth of that rim that's going around the coin. So that was very interesting. So don't always be put off by something just because maybe it looks a little bit off on a profile like that. But yeah, there we have some absolutely awesome Christmas rounds. I really like them. As Mrs. Backyard Bullion said, when they came through that package and we opened the package and found them, you know, we can't melt them. You know, these were meant for the melting pot, so I can't feel like these are going to end up in the melting pot anytime soon. I mean, who's to say that in a couple of years' time, if we're running low on silver, maybe we'll crack them out and melt them. But for the time being, I'm going to hang on to these. I like them. Cheap silver rounds, fun silver rounds as well. And that's what this time of year is meant to be all about. It's all meant to be about having fun with friends and family, enjoying your time, and whether this may make some cool Christmas gifts, some cool Christmas stocking fillers one day, who knows. So I'm definitely going to keep hold of these. They're not going to go in that melting pot. And I would highly recommend that anybody else out there who picks up some things like this, that you don't stick them in the melting pot as well. But anyway, that is some Christmas themed rounds for you guys here. I hope you have enjoyed them. Do let me know if you know anything more about these than I do. I've tried to do as best a research as possible. I have absolutely no clue what the mintage figures are on all of these. But if you've got any links to them, please do comment down below. I'll pin some links on the comment section so that you guys can go and have a look at them if maybe you were interested in picking them up. But I know that there's some 2018 versions of these on Provident Metals and various other US dealers. Doesn't seem like they're very common here in the UK. Obviously they're sort of, you know, US themed rounds, so yeah, I don't know. They're very cool though. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Now, as I said at the start of the video, we are not doing a vote this week because I want to get a video in the bank so that I don't have to worry about filming something over that Christmas period. and it's something very cool indeed. It's probably one of my favourite pieces that I've picked up over this last year, and it's a piece of community silver. I'm going to stop beating about the bush now. I'm going to give you a very quick sneak peek, because if I show this too much on camera, you might not want to watch next week's episode. So here it is. Look at that. How incredible is that? Love it. So look, that's the sneak peek. I'm not going to put it on camera any longer because if I do, I'm going to start talking about it. If you want to see that, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that alarm bell, and if you want to get a notification when that video goes live next week. Otherwise, I hope you all have a fantastic couple of days in the build up to Christmas. I know that I will be spending a lot of time with friends and family over this Christmas period and having a good old time, and I hope you all do too. Thank you one and all for watching, and please make sure as always that you like, share, comment and subscribe for more.